Hello, welcome back to, it's so squeaky. Hello, welcome back to my channel. It is Amanda. We're going to be talking about the palettes that I'm going to be using in July. Ooh. I am choosing a different section of palettes to use each month. For July, we're using ColourPop. ColourPop far and away takes over almost a third of my eyeshadow palette collection. I love ColourPop eyeshadows and I need to use them more. I keep all of my palettes in a spreadsheet and I just randomly generated 10 in that section of my spreadsheet, and this is what we have. So we're going to talk about them, and maybe at the end of the month I'll do a ranking video, even though I feel it's all these already. And let's get to it. The first palette that was generated was It's My Pleasure. This is what was their first monochromatic palette? I don't remember. This was one of them, I think. It's an older monochromatic palette. I think one of the issues that people have with this palette is it's not just purple, it's very pinky purple. I don't really mind that. I love purple eyeshadow. It's raining. It's been raining for like 4 days. I love purple eyeshadow. I'm excited to use this because this is one that I know that I like, but I just reach for other things. I'm really bad about like reaching into my drawers and utilizing my collection. It's embarrassing. So that is one that we're going to be using in July, and by we, I mean me. The next palette is probably my favorite ColourPop palette, maybe one of my favorite palettes. I think this is one of my favorite palettes of all time, and that is the Good Sport palette. I do not understand why they discontinued this, because anyone who talks about ColourPop products that they love and they wish they would come back, they almost always mention this palette. I love the color story. It is dark and jewel toned, but also kind of earthy. This Sista shade is a perfect one and done shade. You can see that there's a dip in it. That's, you know, I don't go through eyeshadow quickly. This Ebb shade, oh my gosh. It is just like liquid green metal. It's so beautiful. This Hooky shade is a beautiful rusty red. I just love this palette so much. The next palette that was generated is the All That palette, and I think this is a Valentine's palette a couple years ago, and I've used this palette, but I definitely haven't used it enough. This red shade is, I can't remember what they call it, like a metallic flake or something. It's a really interesting formula. It's almost like a Super Shock, but not a Super Shock. That kind of putty texture. And this is a really, like, this is kind of a rock and roll palette, I feel like. That's just me being uncool and not understanding rock and roll, maybe. There's a pressed glitter in it, but it's a pretty pressed glitter. The next palette that was selected is the Zodiac. I think this one is discontinued. This was a collaboration with Kathleen Lights, and I've only used this palette a few times. Not really into like Zodiac stuff, so that was, you know, it's not like a big thing for me, but I do like the colors in here. The Pisces shade is absolutely beautiful. It's like a perfect water shade. There's, you know, plenty of mattes, shimmers. There's no pressed glitters. It does have a mirror, which is still has the plastic on it, because I do not use mirrors in palettes. The next palette that was chosen is Garden Variety, and I'm glad this one was chosen, because if I were to mention my least favorite ColourPop palette, it would probably be this one. I don't know. I think I just was wanting more color payoff from these. It's a very like light palette. I want more color. I always want like jewel tones, richer, bolder, saturated. But I know not everyone does. But I am excited to use this a little bit more. There is a Super Shock shade in here. I don't understand how some of the Super Shocks can go in eyeshadows and eyeshadow palettes, and others need the lid sealed completely. I don't understand. Did I just get eyeshadow all over my pants? Yes, I did. The next palette that was generated is another monochromatic palette, and this is Baby Got Peach. This is one that was in my Pan That Shadow project last year, so I do actually have pan in this little peach shade. But I actually haven't used this palette a ton other than that. There's a pressed glitter in here, which I will not be using, but some pretty peachy neutral shades. I like a peachy eyeshadow. For as much as I don't like peach blush, I like a peachy eyeshadow. The next palette that was generated is the Little Ray of Sunshine palette. This is an all matte yellowy palette. I really do love these colors. I love yellow. And I definitely haven't used this as much as I need to, but we're going to this month. There are 3 more. The next one is the Child palette. This is a fabulous eyeshadow palette. I love this guy. I've gotten a good amount of use out of this palette, so I know that I enjoy it, but I am also excited to wear it again because if you are new, I love green eyeshadow. And I mean, he is cute. I don't really know anything about Star Wars. The next palette is the Wild Nothing palette. I think this is their first vegan eyeshadow, if I'm not mistaken. Cruelty-free and vegan. This is an extremely neutral palette, so this is one I don't reach for very often. But some days, you know, this is perfect for, like, I don't really want to wear makeup, but I need like a crease color or something very simple. I'm gonna use it. I just definitely haven't used it a lot so far. And then the last palette that I will be using in July is the Amarr palette. This has since been rebranded. It now has teal packaging, and I'm really annoyed that mine doesn't, but it's okay. And I haven't used this palette in so long. Like a really long time. But look at the colors. Oh. Beachy. So those are the ColourPop palettes that I will be using in July. There will be other ColourPop months because I have more to use. So there will be more ColourPop months at some point, but we're gonna start with those. Let me know what palettes you are going to be using in July. Do you have favorite makeup that you wear in July? Do you have any of these palettes? What are your favorite looks with any of these palettes? I'll be posting some makeup reels on my Instagram at It Is Amanda. The link is in the description box, but that's where I post the makeup reels and stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please leave those in the comments, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.